I'm Hema Ramki and I want to invite you to stay tuned to CNC3. Join us for a very special episode of She Says So. We'll be speaking with some of the candidates and the delegates, the young women who are all vying for the crown of Miss World Trinidad and Tobago. Now, we're having a special Mother's Day edition, so you want to definitely stay tuned. We're going to find out more about these young women, but also their relationships with their mothers, how it shaped them, and how their mothers cheerleading them in this new chapter of life. Join us on CNC3 Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m., Fridays at 8 p.m., and Saturdays at 12 p.m.
She Says So, brought to you by S&S Passat Supermarket and thebesttoys.com.
She's unstoppable. She's got the power to break the chains and make it louder. She says so.
I want you guys, if you're listening and hearing me right now, to understand and remember that you are so worthy. You're all capable and you all have something unique. So just have fun, give it your all, and you have my support, and Trinidad and Tobago is ready to support you as well. So let's get ready to invite these incredible young women to the stage.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then how?
Well, Trinidad and Tobago, as you can tell from that introductory video, it's another special edition of She Says So. We're continuing our conversations with the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago delegates, their 2024 delegates. They're all vying for this crown, but this is our special Mother's Day edition of She Says So, where we are having conversations with these lovely young ladies to find out a little bit about the meaning of Mother's Day and maybe share some insights into their conversations with their mothers. Hello, ladies.
Hi, thank you for having us.
We appreciate it.
So maybe we could start with some introductions. I see Miss Eldorado.
Yes, hi, my name is Jody Russell. I am Miss Eldorado for 2024. I'm very excited to be here today.
Hi, I'm Anna Marie Bagan. I'm Miss Arima 2024. Like Jody, I'm also very excited to be here.
Tamara, you, in the introductory brief, you described that your mother had such a profound impact on your life. You looked at her as the roots that nourish and sustain you. That's a really deep description. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, when I was 15 years old, I discovered I had a medical condition known as scoliosis. I was now beginning my modeling career at that time, so it was very discouraging to learn about this diagnosis that I had recently discovered. And one thing that my mother had continuously done was continue to support me, say it's okay, and I believe that has inspired me to continue my work, to continue my passion. I like to say that my mother has inspired me to inspire others.
Did you contemplate ending your journey into the world of modeling, and did you tell your mother that?
I always had my mother's support, and as soon as she discovered any kind of doubt within me, she continued pushing me. She was like, Anna, you shouldn't give up just because of this small thing. If this is what you are passionate about, you should continue. And I believe my mother has always instilled in me that passion comes first. If you are passionate about something, you need to continue doing it because it's what you love.
So let me ask you the same question. How do you think your mother's value system, because your colleague has described it in like roots that nourish her. How would you describe your mother's relationship with you?
I would say very similar to Anna. My mother has been a huge impact onto my life, from my educational journey to my spiritual journey, my mental journey. She has always been there for me every step of the way. There isn't anything, once I say, Mommy, I need help, she's always there. She's one of the most inspirational women I have ever met. I look up to her every single day. Ever since I was small, I always wanted to be just like my mom. So she has been somebody who has been a rock to me, and she has cared for me and loved me so much.
Was there ever a time that you felt you were being tested or tried, and it was your mother that kind of pulled you out of it?
Yes, definitely. I think for me, it would have been going back to my CXC days, and I would often sit and I would say, Mom, I'm not getting through the problem. I don't think I can do it. And she would sit with me and she would say, come with me in front of the mirror, and she would help me say affirmations to myself. So she would say, I'm beautiful, I am strong, I can do this, I know this, I have this. And that really helped inspire me and it helped me to have the confidence within myself to say, I can do it. And
Do you still do those affirmations?
yes, I do. I still do those affirmations, and with her as well.
Now, let me bring it back to you, Judy. You talk a lot about your mom, and fun fact, the Food Network.
Yes.
Can you cook?
I can cook. I love to cook. I often joke with my mom and tell her I can cook better than her. The only thing she has against me is pastas. She is really good at it.
Now, you talk about your academic excellence and your journey. I know you're starting your PhD.
Yes, well, my PsyD.
Tell me a little bit about that. And, is your mother the one that kind of pushes you or encourages you to keep moving up in that academic ladder?
Yes, ever since I have been small, I've seen my mom studying. She's always involved in some educational pursuit. It's something that she has always, similar to Anna, she has said, no one can take your education from you. Get your education first, and then the world is for your taking. So I'm very inspired by her when it comes to studying and being a part of my academic pursuits. So my PsyD was something that I said, Mom, well, you may not have gotten to go to your doctorate, but I would.
Now, does she feel proud of that?
Yes, she's extremely proud of that. I know every day she tells someone and she's like, oh my gosh, my daughter's going to be a doctor. She's going to be a neuropsychologist. She's always on the phone, and I know that it brings her so much joy to know I was able to do this.
Well, just saying it out loud sounds impressive.
Yes.
Let me, Anne-Marie, you mentioned your mother as served as a guiding light to your family even among your eldest siblings. Tell me about you mentioned some of the words of wisdom that she shared with you, but how has it shaped who you are?
I think it shaped me to become someone who can become an advocate for children who are differently abled. Like I said earlier, my mother always made sure that even though I had a deformity, I was never discouraged. I want other children to also have that impact. My mother has always inspired all of my siblings to do the same. And no matter what way, she always tells us to go do what we want to do.
You talk also about a love for dance and music.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those moments.
I love to dance. I love music. And it was definitely instilled in me, not only by my mother, but my entire family. We are a very close-knit family. We love to get together. And one of the things we always do is have a little mother-daughter dance. We, sway to the music. And we just have such a fun time with family bonding and love.
If you had to say something special to your mother on this Mother's Day, what would it be?
I would like to tell my mother that your sacrifices has pushed me to become who I am today. Your beautiful words of encouragement has brought me where I am today. I'm so grateful that you have pushed me to become the best version of myself, because I genuinely, truly feel myself living up to those shoes, and I just want to continue to make you proud.
So let me ask you the same question. You talk about your mother being the guiding light. You talk about the influence and telling everyone, my daughter's going to have a PhD. What would you want to say to her on this Mother's Day?
I would like to say, Mommy, I could not have done it without you, without your continuous sacrifice, without your continuous guidance and love. I would not be the person I am today. And I am super proud to call you my mom. And I love you so much.
You talk about your mother and that giving back to community, and also your interest in mental health awareness. How did all of that start?
So from a very young age, when my mom had me, I was about 4 years old when she started her radiography program, and I would often have to go to her classes with her. So I would be in the hospital at 4 years old, just roaming around, discovering all these different professions and mental health awareness. As I started to grow older, it just stood out to me. I always wanted to know why these persons weren't able to get the proper help that they needed. So my Beauty with a Purpose as well, it really focuses on giving children of the special needs community that accessibility to free care within the public system, because I think it's definitely needed.
Well, you both definitely have some very noble causes, so we wish you all the best in the rest of this journey. I'm Hema Rapkissoon, and you're watching She Says So. This is a special Mother's Day edition, and we're speaking to the TNT Miss World 2024 delegates. Stay with us. We'll come back after this break.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com.
From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, and bathtubs. Visit us in store at first floor Movietown Port of Spain, Forces flagship MacBean, Eastgate Mall Trin City, or shop online now. And remember, we have the best for your baby at the best prices.
SNS Passage Supermarket comes to St. Mary's Freeport. With the wide aisles of variety, quality you can trust, a community hub, and loyalty rewards. When I say they have everything, they have everything from your fresh produce, the wines and spirits, your butcher meat, seafood, bakery, you name it, they have it. And with these prices, trust me, you're guaranteed to save some money in your pocket. So come on down and shop today at the brand new SNS Passage Supermarket, St. Mary's Freeport.
She's unstoppable. She's got the power.
Welcome back. We're continuing with our special edition of She Says So, and we are continuing all of our conversations with the delegates. That's the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago 2024 delegation. All of these beautiful young ladies are vying for the coveted crown. But this is a special show. We're talking to them about Mother's Day, particularly their relationship with their mothers. And well, Anna Marie is still here with us, but we do have another contestant.
Hi, I'm Mary Rebecca Reyes. I am Miss Lacano.
Well, Miss Lacano, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mary Rebecca, let me start with, first of all, Mary Rebecca, the genesis of your name. Let's give a backstory on that.
Yes, so I'm named after my mother, Maria, and my father's beloved aunt, Rebecca. So he combined the two to make Mary Rebecca. Yes.
Story of love there. Now, you know, your artistic journey seems very much deeply rooted in your family lineage. And your mother seems to have had a big influence in who you are today. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, art is in our DNA as Reyes people, as the Reyes family. And I think that parents, they see something in you that you don't see yourself as a child, right? Or even now. And they see the spark within you, and it is their job and their duty to nourish it and to harness it. And I think my mother did an excellent job of doing that with her 4 children. She saw our natural inclination to the arts, and as children, we entered many art competitions under her tutelage, and she was there from the beginning, our conception, our preliminary works, to the end results of us winning and being at award shows.
Did you ever, you know, you say that as particularly your mother looked at it and identified a talent, and all 4 of you, so that's amazing in itself, yes. Right? Can you remember distinctly at one point when she looked at you and said, Mary Rebecca, this is what you should be doing?
Yes, well, one thing in particular is that what we love to do was to sew together and to go buying cloth together, buying the zips, the buttons, everything, to the point where we made matching dresses together. And I even, years later, I hosted my own fashion show in Form 6, and it was a charity event, and it was for my creative project. And my mother said, you are so good at organization and just event planning and everything. You need to like do something with the arts and with organization. So that kind of fueled my directions and creativity along the way.
Anna Marie, I want to bring back the conversation to you. You said, fun fact about your mom, she has a profound love for gardening and plants.
Yes.
And you talk about transforming a home into a sanctuary. Tell us a little bit, Anna Marie, about a cherished moment that you have with that love that your mother has for plants and gardening, that green thumb.
I sadly don't have that amazing green thumb as my mother, but she always tries to include me in everything that she does. So anytime she's planting, she'll knock on my door and be like, Anna, come outside, we're gonna go planting, we're gonna, get a few flowers. And one thing about me is that I love orchids. So my mom ensures that there are orchids all around the house, just a little keepsake for both of us. But another thing is that she really does make the house a sanctuary. All the flowers, you see bees, you see hummingbirds. There's so much nature around us, and I really do feel that it keeps you grounded. And I can tell that my mother also believes that, and it's something that we share together. We love nature, we love going hiking, and I just enjoy being around the house because of how much she's made it a sanctuary for both of us.
Now, Mary Rebecca, let me turn to you about your passion for arts and also your family lineage in the Lacano community. I know you were proud to say Miss Lacano. Yes. You know, you're determined to initiate an arts council. Tell me a little bit about that, and what does your mother think of that idea?
Well, it really starts, like you said, with the history of where I come from. So my grandfather is named, the street that we live on is named after my grandfather, and it is so important to us to move back into his home. And my family history is so important to us as artists. Sharing those stories is so important. And the name of my arts council is called A Daddy Gramps Red. And it is because it's named after my grandfather, who we fondly refer to as Daddy Gramps. And that red in particular is a red that everyone in my family knows what I talk about when I say a Daddy Gramps red, because he's a sign painter, and it is the particular type of red that he would use to paint all of his signs, and that was his bread and butter for the family. So that is kind of the story behind it, the standard and the style that I want my organization to be, and it is to encourage artists to pursue and perfect their craft, and that is what I would want to do with my Beauty with a Purpose. Yeah.
Henry, let me ask you a little bit about your Beauty with a Purpose project. I know you were very passionate about it. You speak a lot about your personal diagnosis. Tell us a little bit about your project.
My project is to help differently able children be able to express themselves, be able to know that they can achieve their goals and dreams. I would like to be a spokesperson for children who aren't able to have the platform that I do. I believe creating a safe space for them where they're able to express themselves, whether it be creatively through art, music, or dance, or even just needing that self-confidence boost, is very important. I would like to try to implement more awareness around these children, particularly in the public health sector and even in the private. I believe that these children need representation and they need a voice to be able to speak for them when they cannot be heard.
When you came up with your project, did you vet it with your mother?
Of course I did. You know, my mother is the one person that I run to tell everything. You know, when I got the phone call that I was going to be Miss Arima 2024, I ran into her arms and I cried because I was just so happy to know that the judges understood that I wanted to be a voice for those kids who needed it, and she understood that, and it's something that we love to talk about together. We love to share. Right now we do everything together, and she knows all my secrets. I don't have any secrets with my mom.
Rebecca, how has your mother been with this journey?
My mother was the first person to encourage me to sign up for Miss World. Okay. And she has been supportive the entire process. She has been excited the entire process. The whole family comes together, and she really spearheads every decision making in this entire process. So I am very happy to have her by my side.
And your Beauty with a Purpose,
yes.
How much do you think your mother's influence shaped what you decided I would like to present to the world?
Well, I think that in everything that I do, it is based off of my foundation with my family. And she specifically said, whatever I do, I must use it to uplift others and uplift Christ, and if to use my talent, my God-given talent, to do so. So that has really shaped this project at its core, because it is to encourage artists to use their talent and to find life through it, you know, so.
If you had to say something special to your mother on Mother's Day that she may not necessarily know, or that you may not say all the time, what would it be on this Mother's Day?
I listen to everything that you say. I take everything that you say. I do not take it for granted. I am very grateful for everything that you have done for me and for my siblings, and I love you.
And let me ask you the same thing. What do you want to say to your mother on this Mother's Day?
I've already said that I am very grateful and appreciative. So I just want to take this time to once again reiterate that you are my star. And if there is one thing that I have to say, is that I am my mother's daughter. And I am proud to say that. I love you, and I hope that we can continue to have our little adventures together, and you can continue to support me in the way that you have already.
Well, ladies, all the best in this competition, and it's another adventure, right?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. We take a short break. When we come back, we will continue another segment of our special Mother's Day edition. We are speaking with the TNT Miss World 2024 delegation. Stay with us.
Are you looking for a customizable studio space with green and white screen cyclorama and professional production equipment to carry out your next big project? SGP Studios is the perfect fit for you. TNT's largest studio space with an overhead lighting grid and sound treated, perfect for television commercials, music videos, television programs, social media content, and film productions. We also have a wide range of production equipment available for rental. You can choose from a selection of Netflix approved cameras, modern lighting equipment, professional audio gear, 40-foot and 20-foot cranes, gimbals, drones, lenses, action cameras, and more, all at competitive prices. Whether you need a high-end cinema camera for a feature film shoot, specialized lighting equipment for a music video, or audio gear for a podcast, we've got you covered. And with our easy online booking system, you can reserve the gear you need in just a few clicks. Check us out online at sgpstudios.com.
SNS Passage Supermarket comes to St. Mary's Freeport with the wide aisles of variety, quality you can trust, a community hub, and loyalty rewards. When I say they have everything from your fresh produce, your wines and spirits, your butcher meat, seafood, bakery, you name it, they have it. These prices, trust me, you're guaranteed to save some money in your pocket. So come on down and shop today at the brand new SNS Passage Supermarket, St. Mary's Freeport.
She's unstoppable. She's got the power.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. We are continuing our conversations with the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago 2024 delegation. This is our special Mother's Day edition of She Says So, and we have some new faces on set.
Hi, I'm Mia. I'm your Miss Maribel 2024.
Hi, I'm Kayla Alexander. I'm your Miss Gasparillo 2024.
So Miss Maribel and Miss Gasparillo join us at this time. Mia, let me start with you. You know, you have described your mother in the brief as a profound source of love, support, guidance throughout your entire life. Tell me specifically about one memory, one interaction that kind of just shows this is exactly who she was and is to me always.
Yeah, so first of all, my mummy is the most selfless person anybody could ever come across. And it always amazed me how in touch with other people she was. She's very empathetic. And I'm gonna be honest, naturally I'm not like that, but she has instilled that in me. And she has taught me the power of being empathetic to other people really makes both parties better and happier. And
you describe that empathetic nature. Give me an example of when someone in her circle or someone in an interaction where you said, I would have never thought about that.
So my mother, she worked in hospice care, which is one of the most selfless, I think, job fields that you can be in. She would come home to me with stories about how she made the end of people's lives happier and more eventful, honestly. She is very entertaining. She is so fun to listen to. She is just one of the most radiant people you'll ever meet. And I think she brings a sense of comfort to people in their last times.
They do. That is a selfless, very selfless profession. Okay, let me ask you, your mom, you have described as resilient, continuous self-improvement. What are some of the moments that you think, this is who my mother is to me? Share a memory with us.
Growing up, I would meet her on work, and she was a secretary for about 20 years. And when I would visit her, I would see her juggling 16, 17 tasks at the same time, all with a smile. And people would come up to her and ask her for support, for strength through hard times in their lives. And she would stop and still to make time to sit and speak with them.
Could you remember one specific time that you thought that someone may have come up to her and you thought, I don't know how she does it, but she did it and it left a lasting impression on you?
It was during my examinations. I was there studying at her desk and someone knocked on her door and said, I really need your help. And they looked really heartbroken. They looked really downtrodden, and my mom said, come, come, come. And she took them to the break room and they came back with a smile.
Well, that definitely is one. Mia, coming to you, back to you, it's fascinating to learn that pageantry seems to be in your bloodline. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my mother was Miss Universe 1995, right? So it's almost a whole, was it 20 years difference? Yeah, and her experience with pageantry is very similar to mine. We had no prior experience before, and we just decided, you know what, life is an adventure, why not start a new chapter and do it? And her advice and her stories have definitely helped me and pushed me in this journey of mine.
Pageantry has changed a lot.
Definitely.
You know, so a lot of times people look at it as a beauty show. Now they talk a lot more about the beauty with a purpose. What is the one piece of advice that your mother said to you coming into this journey?
One piece of advice that my mother gave me is to just focus on myself, truly, and how I can make the world a better place. I sometimes allow outside noise to kind of influence me, and sometimes when people say things about me, I allow that to kind of hit me inside. And my mother she's like, Mia, shake it all off, you got this, you are just, you know, she helps me push towards my goals and my dreams. Yeah.
So Kayla, tell me a little bit about maybe a piece of advice that your mother has given you, or the motto that guides your life that you can say, this came from my mother.
My mom always tells me that you are the biggest obstacle to your challenges. And this has taken me super far, as she is the one person I can count on to give me really constructive criticism that is authentic. She really helps mold me and shape me into the person that I am by being honest.
Constructive criticism is something not many people can take. I don't think at my age I've ever really mastered that art. Is it tough love, or is it difficult hearing it from your mother sometimes?
Sometimes it is difficult, and she really emphasizes that you need to hear it from her first. Other people will tell you, they will try to guide you and shape you, and she rather that I get it from a place of love and comfort rather than the outside world.
Interesting, there's a love for R&B in your family. Tell me a little bit about that.
My mom grew up listening to TLC, Aaliyah, and Beyonce, and I grew up watching these music videos with her. And it is there that I really fostered my love for fashion, for beauty, for performance as I grew up as a dancer. And yes, that's what we did together.
Mia, you have a fun fact. Your mom is a big foodie.
Yes, we are both humongous foodies. I think one of my favorite food memories with my mother is that every Christmas she would make in the morning, she would fry bake and a Christmas ham at the same time. A Christmas ham in the oven and frying bake. And I would wake up every single Christmas morning, to as far back as I can remember, to that smell. And she would do a fry bake, some butter, a slice of cheese, and a fat slice of Christmas ham. Still to this day, my comfort food.
I can tell that definitely one of the better memories you have.
Absolutely.
As you're competing for this title, you tied your actual day job in the world of finance. You are tying that into what you do. You see a consistent need to empower people with financial literacy. Let's talk a little bit about what you do and how you found this gap existing.
So I have a double major in a bachelor's degree in finance and economics. And during the day, I am a financial analyst for a biotech company. And I see not a lot of people are understanding finance. I want to empower people with financial literacy. I want them to create their own independent financial decisions about, saving, investment, budgeting, debt management. Money can be extremely, extremely stressful for so many families. And I think once you have a couple key financial rules in your head, it'll make your life a lot easier.
Looking as well, I want to ask about the hobbies that you share with your mom. You all seem to have a lot of things in common.
Yes, we are huge movie lovers. So my mother's a very aesthetic person. She sees the beauty in creating movies, not just the actors and actresses. She sees the beauty behind filmmaking, and she's shown me a whole new world. She grew up in front of the camera with pageantry. Right. But I always said that she should be behind the camera. She loves just creating. And so we would lay in bed together and just watch movies after movies after movies, and then have a big discussion at the end over a bowl of popcorn. So.
I know, and bring you back. Love
more food.
More food. Okay, let me bring you back. Your mom has a weakness for caramel.
Yeah, she does.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Just recently, she ordered some coffee. They only had chocolate syrup. She canceled the order. Even during movies at home as well, we would bring out some ice cream. And if there wasn't any caramel syrup, she would go on the stove and make.
You talk about your mom's dream to become a UN ambassador. How do you think
Yes.
what you're doing now is somehow she's living vicariously through you?
As a child, she would make sure that I knew that my voice had reason and that people should hear my voice. And she's a very expressive person who cannot stand injustice. And what I'm doing right now with my Beauty with a Purpose, being a voice for young girls and women as we try to eradicate, as we stand for eradicating gender-based violence by harnessing art and creativity, she's really proud of me. She tells me every day in the car, she's like, I cannot believe you're doing this. You know, I feel like I am carrying forward her dream.
Well, we definitely are supporting you and the rest of the candidates here. As we wrap this interview, what is the one thing you want to say to your mother that you think will shock even her in the message to her on Mother's Day?
Yeah. How much time do we have? Because seriously, I cannot put into words how grateful I am for my mother and everything that she showed me, the backbone that she is to me. And I hope that, I think the biggest thing I can give back to her and to thank her, the biggest way of showing her thanks is by fulfilling my dreams. Because I know that's what she would want me to do. And by doing this pageant, she's watching me do that. And, you know, I just want to say a big thank you to my mother for everything.
You know, you spoke about what your mom does profession, and that really is a very noble one that I don't think many people can do. Was there ever a moment that you looked at it and like, my mom is a super mom?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many, I mean, there are countless moments where I look at my mother and I go, I want to be who when I grow up, and I'm 26, you know? She is just an inspiration to me, my sister, to my friends. She's a maternal figure as well. To my friends that don't have mothers, she's just one of the most incredible people that I know, you know.
Kayla, you know what, I want to ask you the same thing. On this Mother's Day edition of She Says So, what do you want to say to your mother? You've given her so much praise throughout this interview.
I'd like to tell my mommy, I love you. I love you so much. I see the sacrifices you have made for me, how you put your dreams aside for mine. And the best thing I can do is make you proud. Become the young woman that you would like me to be.
Well, I'm sure that you definitely are becoming that young woman. And we wish you all, both of you, all the best in this pageant and as you continue to vie for the coveted crown. But we've come to the end of this episode. This is a special episode, She Says So, our Mother's Day edition, and we're continuing conversations. We had conversations with some of the delegates and the candidates for the Miss World TNT 2024 delegation. Stay tuned to CNC3 for more of our episodes, and I want to encourage you to follow us on social media to get all the clips and share. Be part of our community as we use this platform to encourage other young women to follow their dreams.
She's taking control. She's gonna rise up. She's gonna make you know.
She Says So was brought to you by SNS Passad Supermarket and thebesttoys.com.